Packet people, what's going on? So I wanted to show you something that I've been working on here in my home office, and that's building a do-it-yourself packet capture appliance. Now on the channel, we talk quite a bit about how important it is to capture traffic. The problem is though, if we're looking around the industry, we can see some very expensive purpose-built hardware. So the question that's come in from quite a few of you is, how can I do this for my home office or a small office? And is a purpose-built appliance really worth that money? Well, the short answer for most home environments, what I'm going to show you is good enough. It's not until you get up into the multi-gig, 10 gig, 40, 100 gig environments where you need to think about some purpose-built hardware. But here in this video, I'm going to show you how I was able to take a Raspberry Pi 4, just 4 gigs of RAM, and a Samsung hard drive and build my own packet capture appliance. Everything said and done for under 250 bucks. So first, the Raspberry Pi, and as you can see, this one has a case that I purchased for it. Here's the box it came in, so just a regular Raspberry Pi computer. You could just as easily do this with a Raspberry Pi 3. I have friends that have. It doesn't take a huge amount of resource. The thing about it though is a lot of times these have these mini SDs on here, which they might have the capacity. Sometimes you can get like 128 gigs, even more with those micro SDs. But the problem is that writing to them frequently can burn them out. So that's why you might think about getting a USB hard drive. And that's what this is. This is a Samsung T7. I think I got it on Amazon for about 75 bucks. By the way, all this is in the links down below. You can see all the stuff that I purchased to make this happen. But the nice thing about this type of hard drive is that it gives you capacity for longer captures. So 500 gigabytes will get me quite a bit of time, but also I don't have to worry about burning out the little micro SD on the Raspberry Pi. Now that's the actual appliance, these two devices, but then how do I get this into a position where it can capture traffic on my network? Well, there's one more component you got to think about, and that is having a switch that can do spanning. Okay, so that means that I can take a port, everything to and from that port, and copy it over to a mirror port. Now this is a Netgear Plus Switch ProSafe GS105E. It's not going to cost you too much. So first, let me show you how you can connect all of this, and then you can begin getting that capture ready on your Raspberry Pi. Okay, so I got that all connected back up again. So basically what it is I have my pfSense coming from, that's just basically the router that I have doing all my heavy lifting. And then I connected that into the switch on port 1. And then from there, I went to my Eero devices, which are managing all of my Wi-Fi. So now that switch is a key location where I can take my Raspberry Pi capture box and connect it into that management port so I can see all of the traffic coming and going. Now that's an important location to capture from. So I can do a rolling buffer. I can do basically a stream to disk capture of all the traffic coming and going. So I can do analysis for performance or security. But that's also a good location for the Raspberry Pi to be, because I can also configure it to be an IDS to do some other watchdogging on that network traffic. Now there's something else that you want to remember if you set up your network this way. And I figure I'll just go ahead and draw this out for you. So if you have your ISP, here's your cloud, and we're coming off the ISP, we're going to the router that they give us, that modem router that does our DNS or DHCP, all that stuff. So if we have this coming in and we're capturing there, right? So this is the interface. We're just kicking that out to our little capture appliance. Okay, so make sure though, if you do connect to that, your devices that are doing your Wi-Fi or just connecting everything else, you want to make sure that that wireless device is just providing access point. Make sure that it's not another router that is then natting everybody behind it. And the reason is because all you're going to see on that point of capture is just one client doing all the traffic. You won't be able to break it out and see the individual devices and what they're up to on your network. Okay, so I have my devices set up just as APs, not as routers that are natting that traffic. So now let's take a look at how I configured that Raspberry Pi to begin capture. So there's quite a few steps here, and just to keep this video short, I'm trying to not let this go on for an hour, but basically I first got the Raspberry Pi and I got that micro SD, and I went and did a headless install, meaning I didn't have an external monitor or a keyboard. What I did is I was able to download the Raspberry Pi OS and configure it using the Raspberry Pi Imager. For here, I'll just link another video in the description down below of how to set this up. Basically, you can use your options to be able to enable SSH ahead of time and set it up so that once you pull out that card and you put it into your Raspberry Pi, boot up your Pi, you can go ahead and SSH into the Wi-Fi interface. Now, I found the IP address from my Wi-Fi interface off of my router itself. I was able to see what address it got, or you could use Nmap to find it as well. But then once you have that IP, then you can SSH into the Pi. But to just keep things visual for you, I'm going to go ahead and VNC into the Raspberry Pi. It makes it a little bit easier to demonstrate. So here I can see I've got my Pi set up. I've got the Ethernet interface connected into that switch. And I've got that disk connected, that T7 Samsung disk. Now, I didn't have to do any kind of special formatting for it. I just plugged it in and it showed up here and I was good to go. Now, to access that disk, if I just come into my file folder structure, under Home Pi, and if I come down to, in fact, it's not Home, it's actually Media, Pi, T7, and then PCAP. So this is going to be actually where I store all the PCAPs that I'm going to be capturing in a ring buffer scenario. So how do I actually get that set up? So let me actually just open up a prompt here, and I'm just going to come into my terminal. Okay, so let's actually see how I did that. So first, let me just double check. So who am I? And I am Pi. So the first thing I'm going to do is just do sudo apt update. Okay, make sure that I'm good to go there. And next, let's just do sudo apt install Wireshark. All right, now this is just going to walk me through the install process. Now there's a few different things that you've got to make sure that you configure here. It's going to ask you, do you want non-default users to be able to capture? I went ahead and I said, no, I don't. That's just going to be a security consideration, so you might want to think about that. And then moving through the other standard things. So really what I was after here is I'm installing Wireshark, but there's also several other command line tools that get installed along with Wireshark. All right, so I want to be able to use Wireshark on the Pi, but also just to be able to capture and just dump information to this hard drive. Okay, so the next thing that I'm doing, I'm just going to navigate to that media folder. So this is what I want to do. Now, this is where we want to pay a little bit closer attention. All right, so I'm just going to use the dump cap utility. All right, so I'm just going to say dump cap. Now, what I want to do is I just want to say dump cap -D, and what that does is it's going to show me all the interfaces that are available on the Pi. Now, I have two interfaces that are available. One is my Ethernet 0 and one is the WLAN 0. Okay, so I'm using the WLAN 0 as my management interface. That's how I'm interacting with the Pi. All right, so the Ethernet 0 is going to be the one that actually captures those packets. Okay, so that's going to be the one that I want to activate. So I'm just going to do dump cap -D. And then, I'm sorry, -I, and then I'm going to say 1 because I want to capture off Ethernet 0, and then I want to just write, and I'll write this all right here. I'm just going to say ring.pcapng. Now I'm going to use the -B switch to configure the ring buffer capabilities of Wireshark. So I'm just going to say files, colon, and I'm just going to say 100, and then file size, colon, 500,000. Okay, this is going to save 100 500 meg files. All right, so 500 megs is about the size that I like to work with when I'm chewing through stuff, and especially on my home network or on a small office, you're not going to burn through 500 meg files too quickly unless you're doing a lot of streaming video and you have a ton of traffic. So you got to think about how big do you want those files to be and how many of them do you want to store. All right, so let's just start with this, and let me just double check here. I'm actually missing a switch here. I'm missing -B. It's going to complain. So if I hit enter, all right, so now I have a file that's started, and it's going to be recording packets to that file. Once that file fills to 500 megs, it's going to go ahead and create the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, all the way through 100 files, and then it'll go back and overwrite this very first one. Now, this is a trick that I use quite a bit when I'm capturing intermittent problems, or if I want to write data to disk for an extended period of time. Now here I've got a 500 gig drive, so that's going to give me quite a bit of time on my home network. So that's something that I can factor in when I'm creating those file sizes and also the number that I'm storing. Okay, now from here, there's a bunch more that we can do. Again, I want to keep this video short, but this is where we can start to rip through some of this data using other tools like Circata, like Brim, even setting up the Pi as an IDS. So stay tuned to the channel here because I'm going to be showing you a few more things that I'm going to do with my little packet capture appliance as I build out its capabilities. All right, so to set up your own custom built appliance for packet capture, you don't need heavy lifting. hardware that's going to do that for you, the really expensive stuff. There is a time and place for that. If you're capturing in a data center or in a high throughput environment, 100% you want to think about getting some good hardware. But for your home office, you can do it with a Raspberry Pi and a hard drive. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you see how you can do this for just about $250. Now, how do you read this traffic once you've captured it? I know you're asking that question, so go ahead and click here and we'll dig a little deeper on how to read large PCAPs.